Hello friends, welcome to Digitalk and part 2 of WebLogic 15C 15.11 new features. In the first part, we have understand the major change that we have in 15C where the Java Enterprise Edition, or you can say the Jakarta Enterprise Edition JEE or Java Jakarta EE support now is 9.1. Okay, in your WebLogic 15C, so that means you need to change your application code according to the Jakarta specifications, specifically the 9.1, where you need to change the JavaX to the Jakarta in all of your code, right? That we have completed in the first session. Now, in second session, I'm going to discuss about the few more changes that we have in the 15C version. Okay, so there are other enhancements specifically in terms of the functionalities. Okay, that I'm going to cover in this particular session. Okay, so the very first thing, now it support the Spring Framework 6.x and Hibernate 6.6.x. Okay, that means if you are developing the application using any of this framework, which is specifically the 6.x for the Spring Framework or for Hibernate 6.6.x. Okay, so which specifically utilize the Jakarta package. Okay, which is the standard interpretation features that we have discussed in the previous sessions, first part one. Okay, so that means when we develop the application using the Spring Framework 6.x or Hibernate 6.6.x, then it will automatically consider the default package name as Jakarta. Okay, so now if you have developed the application in this particular versions, then you can directly deploy it in WebLogic Server 15C without any changes. Okay, because all the applications automatically develop using the Jakarta package namespace. Okay, so if you have the old application, as we discussed in the part one, then definitely you need to change your application code. Right. Apart from that, your just like 14.1.2, your 15C support the JDK 17 and 21 certifications. Okay. Now, one of the major enhancement that is coming to the specific to the future versions, not the current 15C version. So here it is introduced just as a technical preview. Okay. So this we can see in the official Oracle blog as well, which is called the Certificate Management Service. Okay, so this is a new way to manage your certificates in your domain. So we configure the multiple SSL certificates in the WebLogic. Okay, the traditional process is we create the key stores, then we create the CSR, then we send it to the third-party authorities, C authorities. They send us some different certificates which we import in our key stores, and then yearly or maybe in a 6 month of a time we have a renewal for that one, and that is a completely a manual process. So to automate that process in the WebLogic, okay, to you can say the complete end-to-end automation of your certificate management. Okay, there's a new feature that has been introduced which is called the certificate management service, but in 15C version, it is clearly mentioned that this is available as a technical preview in this release of WebLogic Server for testing purpose only, and do not use it in production environment. Okay, so that means it is just a technical preview. Okay, for just for understanding and learning purpose in 15C, and in the subsequent future releases, it will be released as a full-fledged production support versions. There you can utilize it in your current production environment. Right. So this CMS, which is called the Certificate Management Service, send request to supported certificate issuer to obtain the certificate. It stores the certificate into the domain key stores, which are available to any server configured to use the certificate management service, making it simple to distribute and refresh certificate as needed. So that means you can do complete end-to-end management, okay, of your certificate related services. So I was going through the multiple documentation. Okay, so I haven't seen any of the thorough document which explicitly talk about how exactly it is work. There are certain documentations where you can see the references of the CMS, and where you will see that certain options are enabled that you can configure using the remote console. But still, I'm not able to see all these features there. So in next couple of a week of a time, when I will get the complete clarity, then I'm going to post the video or the session on that as well. Okay, what exactly it is and how we can implement that one if this feature is there in the 15C. Otherwise, it is clearly mentioned it is only as a technical preview in this release, not for the production support. Okay, and then we have an open rewrite recipe. So open rewrite recipes that I have explained in a separate video along with the executions. Okay, how we can use the open rewrite recipe, which is introduced in 14.1.2 as a tool along with one of the migration tool from the Oracle, which is specifically to change your code. Okay, according to the new specifications. But when we talk about the 14.12, okay, so 14.12 version of WebLogic, it is still using the Jakarta Enterprise Edition 8, okay, which is a parallel version of your Java Enterprise Edition 8. So that means if you have some application which is developed in the 12c versions or 14.11 version of WebLogic, you can easily deploy it in the 14.12 version without any change. So more than 90 or 98% of the time, you may not need to change your code when you are deploying the application to 14.12 versions from the previous versions. But in 15.11, 15c, as I said, it is now supporting the Jakarta Enterprise 9.1, so you need to change your code. So you have a open rewrite recipes that is there in the official repository of the Oracle GitHub, okay, which you can download and which you can use to change your code. Okay, so you don't need to change your code manually. Okay, you can run this open rewrite recipes, okay, and then you can change your code automatically. So almost more than 90% or 95% of the times, almost all the changes will be done for you automatically by this open rewrite recipes. There could be a certain chance based on your application and how you developed and then kind of a functionality that you are using, you may need to change or tweak your code manually at a certain places, but most of the work it will do automatically for you. If you would like to check how it works, you can go to our channel, okay, and then you will see a certain video that we have already posted on step by step execution plan, how to execute this open rewrite recipes to change your code. Okay, so a rewrite WebLogic recipe is to apply the changes provided to upgrade your application to WebLogic Server 15.1 and Jakarta Enterprise Edition 9.1 and Java 17 and 21. So what exactly this will do in the 15c version? So as I said, it is now supporting the Java 17 and 21. Jakarta 9.1. So that means it is going to change your application according to the Java 17 and 21 specifications. Along with that, it is going to transform your application from Java X to Jakarta namespace. Right. Along with that, it is going to transform your deployment descriptors, which is specifically the Jakarta schema specifications. Okay. It is going to upgrade your application from Java 8 to 11 to 17 and 21. So you may have some Java 8 or 11 version where your applications are running, and now it supports 17.21 from 14.12 onwards. So it will automatically going to take care of that one. Okay. Along with that, it is going to identify that all the depreciated or removed WebLogic Java APIs that may you are still using in your application that you need to be changed. It is going to change your WebLogic Maven properties versions automatically for you. And as I said, if you have developed your application in the Spring 5.x versions, okay, so it will automatically change according to the Spring Framework 6.2.x specifications. So once your application is changed using the open rewrite recipes, then you can open your applications in the Spring Framework 6.2.x easily. Okay, so you don't need to change your application. So I have given the link here, which you can also refer, okay, to understand how this open rewrite recipe works. Next one is there is a separate database credentials for XA recovery processing. So XA is just nothing but it is a distributed transactions where the multiple sources are involved in a single transaction, which is also called the XA transactions. Right. So now there are certain situations where certain DBA table grant need to be allowed to database users, okay, to recover the pending transaction branches from the Oracle database, right? So whatever the transaction that we are executing, it is storing in the database. Now, when the transactions are storing in the database, there are certain situations where you need some specific privileges, okay, to recover these pending transactions from the Oracle database. And now the user that we specify in our data sources is an application user. It doesn't have the admin privileges, right? So in that case, it can cause the problems. Okay, so now we can specify two different database credentials for XA recovery, okay, processing. So that means we can specify two different username and password to a data source. One is called as an application username and password that specifically we use as of today as well when we configure the data source. Okay, but along with that, for recovering your pending transactions to allow some specific privileges, you can use a separate username and password, and then you can specify when you are configuring the data source inside the properties weblogic.jdbc.exe recover user and weblogic.jdbc.exe recover password. With the help of these two parameters, you can specify the separate username and password. Okay, there are certain enhancement for the JDBC data source and connection pool tuning as well, where a new parameters has been introduced to optimize the connection pool shrinking operations which improve your performance. Okay, and along with that, you can control if to remove or replace a connection in the connection pool when the test of ideal connection fails due to database session being closed, right? So we have a multiple ready to use connections in the connection pool. So it is happened a lot of with the time that there are certain connections in the pool which is not the active connections, okay, due to certain reasons, multiple reasons. Maybe there are some intermittent issues, backend database failures. So those connections, we can decide if you want to remove that connection and want to create the new connection, or you want to replace a connection in the connection pool when the test of a particular ideal connection fails. Okay, so this is specifically related with the performance of your transactions or the connection to the database. Okay, and along with that, there is a application handling of OIDC token through WLS OpenID Connect provider. Okay, so OID is an OpenID Connect. So when we configure our applications, okay, for the authentications and authorization, we have a multiple different ways in the WebLogic Cloud. You can where you can integrate with some third-party external authentication and authorization providers. So OIDC OpenID Connect is one of them. Okay, so this is one of the specific enhancements specifically in the Open OID, okay, which handle your authorization with the help of different tokens. Okay, so the enhancement in this OIDC is now you can use that particular token for the for you can say the for the authentication process across the multiple applications which is using the OpenID Connect for the authentication perspective. Okay, so this is a security enhancement of your application. And next one is filter to block specific user access to the WebLogic Management API. So we have a multiple WebLogic Management APIs where you can do the multiple operations in your WebLogic with the help of APIs. Okay, instead of directly logging to your admin console using the CLIs, WLST, you can do multiple management operations with the help of APIs as well. Okay, so now you can block specific users to access the WebLogic Management API. Okay, so now you, if you want to restrict the access of the management APIs for certain specific set of users, so that you can do now with the help of in the 15C. Okay. Next one is reliable recovery of AQGMS messages when the DB instance that holds the AQGMS queries is taken down or maintenance. So AQGMS is an advanced queue or queuing feature in your Oracle database, okay, where you can store your messages in the AQGMS Oracle database. Okay, just like the JMS services where we have a queues and different topics, distributed queue, distribution topics, where our messages are stored in queues and topics. Okay, so if you have a certain specific transactions where the messages are going to contact your database for multiple times, okay, so it is good to have to store it in the database, right? Instead of storing that in the WebLogic and then calling the database, you can directly store the messages in the database with the help of this advanced AQGMS feature in the Oracle database. And MDB is a message-driven beans that is used for asynchronous message transactions, okay, which always listen for the certain queues or AQGMS, and whenever there is a message, it consume that one and process the message. Okay, so this feature is specifically related to one of the case, okay, where the underlying AQ sessions may be closed due to database maintenance while the MDBs are in the middle of completing a long running transaction or running message processing task. So that means if certain time your MDBs are processing certain kind of a messages and your database is going in the maintenance window, okay, then there was some problem in the recovery of the transactions. Those were processing by the MDBs. So now there is a advanced messaging recovery capabilities has been incorporated to handle such kind of a situations. Okay, now to other runtime improvement is advanced message recovery of MDBs. Okay, this is something related with what we have discussed so far. Okay, the only difference here, when integrating with Oracle AQGMS using WebLogic MDBs, okay, with certain AQGMS and MDB configurations, application may run into a situation where the same message is picked up and processed by two different MDB threads concurrently. Right. So the first case that we have discussed that when there is a database which is going in the maintenance, and if any of the messages which is getting processed by your MDBs, okay, and which may get failed, so for that the enhancement has been incorporated. Now on top of that, if suppose that there are certain situations where the same message for the processing is picked by the multiple threads of your MDB, so that means it is duplicity processing of the same message concurrently. Okay, so to avoid this kind of a situation, there are certain runtime improvements that has been incorporated so that a message should not be picked up to process concurrently multiple times. Okay. Now, along with that, you have now the Oracle 23 AI is there in the market. So this 15C specifically has a driver or JDBC driver for the 23 AI. Okay, so that means you can unlock the many new database functionalities in the 15C. Okay, with respect to the functionalities that has been incorporated in the Oracle JDBC 23 AI, right? And so that means you can utilize the new features, okay, whatever you have in the Oracle 1223 AI, okay, that features you can utilize in the WebLogic 15C with the help of your multiple drivers and connection pools or data sources. Okay, so we will see that in the future sessions what are those enhancements and how we can actually implement or see those kind of a improvement in the 15C. Okay. Now, along with that, one of the other major enhancement is with 23 AI support, your WebLogic can now support JSON database, allowing user to store and query relation and JSON data through SOTA driver. That means now your database, WebLogic 15C support the JSON database, which is a kind of a semi-structured database. For example, we have a MongoDB. Okay, where the contents are stored in the JSON format, in the key pair values format. Okay, so now if you have this kind of a database where you have using the storing it in JSON like the MongoDB, okay, now you can integrate that with the 15C. Okay, so these are the features that I have seen in the Oracle documentation, but I haven't executed and implemented these. Okay, so as of now, I am just explaining the new features. So in the next subsequent sessions, okay, I am going to show you with the implementations of all these features. Okay, and for observability and open telemetry support, you now you can configure your 15 Oracle WebLogic Server 15C with the open telemetry, okay, which is an observability or monitoring kind of a tool, okay, but it has a multiple features that give you a lot of different internal, you can say the internal executions of your transactions, whatever being executing in your WebLogic server. Okay, so there are a lot of enhancement in terms of the performance, monitoring, and troubleshooting. Okay, that means you can now integrate it with the open telemetry. Okay, it is completely supporting now. And there are a lot of other enhancement that is specifically related with the coherence 15.1.1. So this is a specific separate topic. So I will cover that in the some other video. What are the enhancements specifically in terms of the coherence? Apart from that, there from the manageability support, there are some standard upgrades. Okay, in terms of the versions. For example, we have the EJB versions, we have the JDBC version, JMX versions. Okay, so all these are the certain enhancement that you can specifically see in the WebLogic documentation. What are the other implements or enhancements, specifically in terms of the EJBs, the servlets, Jakarta, JDBC, JDK, JMX, and then web service standards. Okay, in that in terms of certificates, in terms of the LDAP version, TLS. So here it is wrongly mentioned in the document V 1.1 and 1.2. Now it is support the TLS 1.3. Okay, you can configure with the TLS 1.2 as well. Okay, but now the recommendation is go with the latest one, which is 1 point TLS 1.3. So as far as I know, your now 15C support the TLS 1.3. Even your 14.1.2 also support the 1.3 as well. So 1.1, 1.2, TLS 1.2 is the default minimum protocol that you can configure in your WebLogic servers. Okay, so these are the some other major enhancement that we have in the WebLogic for 15C. Okay, now in the subsequent videos, I am going to explore all these options. So wherever possible, the execution is possible. Okay, I will post the session in the future along with the executions. Thank you.